Hello Professor, we are Group 7 from Tutorial 5. This is Project Evaluation Presentation and the topic is Western Sydney International Airport, which is also known as Nancy Bird Walton Airport. Our group comprises of 5 members: Amit Bhattan, Dinesh Kibache, Pasang Chering Sherpa, Sandesh Giri and Ingle Liu. I am Dinesh Kibache and I will be covering introduction and project description part of this presentation. Here I begin. The debate for potential second Sydney airport has been ongoing since 1946. The existing Sydney Airport, which is also called Kingsford Smith Airport, is unable to meet increasing demand for new aviation services. And on failing to meet the demand, there will be substantial loss to Australia. So, as solution, Western Sydney International Airport has been proposed at Badgerys Creek, and the operation is expected to start by 2026. This project will create revenue, improve business relationship, and cater to increasing demand of aviation services. The Stage 1 development will include construction of 3.7 km runway. The airport has initial capacity of 10 million passengers annually, which can reach up to 80 million passengers annually. The project is enormous. It spans up to 1780 hectares of undulated topography, and the artwork exhibition can reach up to 22 million cubic meter of artwork. The Australian government has committed 5.3 billion in equity over a span of 10 years. The airport will help to generate GDP of 23.9 billion by 2060. Also, by 2031, it will help to generate 28,000 direct and indirect jobs.
Hello, Professor. I'm Ying Liu. Our project analyzed the microeconomic impact of Western Sydney Airport on economic aggregates. Firstly, we found that the lines has steadily increased from July 2022. It have benefited from the aviation sector. However, the airfares remain influenced by jet fuel cost. And employment in airport operation and air transport support-wise has also seen growth. It seems to be growth to around 30,000 by 2025. And Western Sydney Airport will also ease traffic at Kingsford Smith Airport and create local jobs during post-construction. From the report of Western Sydney Airport 2020 annual report, we can see there is over 30% of employees comes from Western Sydney. On the next slide, we can see from the figure 1, it shows Western Sydney Airport will create a full-time equivalent employment footprint of 1,200 jobs. And over the entire construction phase, it can suppose around 11,000 per year of employment. And in terms of the value, Western Sydney Airport's total value add footprint to over 500 million annual per year. In the figure 3, it also highlights the link between employment and passengers growth. As a conclusion, we think this analysis can support the airport's long-term economic benefits for Australia. That's all for my part. Thank you.
Hello Professor, I'm Sandesh Giri. I'm here to present about the benefits and cost of the project. Starting with the cost, from financial perspective, we can say that the investment, operation and maintenance are huge cost for the project. There will be lots of people working in the airport from the construction phase to the operation, so their salaries and benefits will also pose as a great cost to the project. The government will be extending the public transport like the metro and extensive road networks to the airport, so that will also present as a huge cost to the project. Talking about the socio-economic perspective, we can say that the construction will cause disturbance to a lot of people, the local ecology, causing a huge environmental impact. Due to the service, lots of people will be using the airport and the services, causing traffic congestion and infrastructural strain. Similarly, the investment and every other cost associated with the airport will be provided by the normal taxpayers, normal people, so it's a huge financial burden for them. Moving on to the benefits, the airport will generate a lot of financial revenues from the airlines who uses the runway, taxiway, and the hangars. It will also be collecting a lot of revenues from the unused public spaces by renting it, and it will be collecting a lot of money from the people who uses the parking. And also, it's a huge project, so the government will provide a lot of incentives and funding for the project as well. For the socio-economic perspective, it will generate a lot of revenues since it will be connecting Sydney to the rest of the world. So the tourism and hospitality sector will be boosted, and the project itself enhances the connectivity and mobility for the people, as it will reduce the strain of the Kingsmith airport. Similarly, with the introduction of the airport, new and developed infrastructure system will be established in those areas. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Pasang Shepa. Let's move on to the presentation. My first topic is cash flow statement based on financial perspective. Since our project lacks cash flow statement data, we refer to the data from Perth International Airport in the financial year 2023, which have a similar number of passengers compared to our project. So this presentation shows the revenue and the expenses of the Perth International Airport in the financial year 2023. So my next topic is cash flow statement based on socio-economic perspective. So our project is expected to create around 28,000 new jobs, which will add $50 million to the economy. It is also expected to increase the tourism, cargo, and surface travel benefit, which will range from $15.7 billion to $25.6 billion. It is also expected to create environmental damage that is estimated to be around $7.4 billion. So my next topic is viability indicators. So the viability indicators indicates if a project is viable or not. That is, if its benefit exceeds its cost or not. So it is also categorized in terms of financial perspective and economic perspective. So we use net present value and benefit to cost ratio to assess the viability. So in terms of financial perspective, our net present value is in negative, and benefit to cost ratio is 0.286, which is less than 1, which indicates that our project is not financially viable. So in terms of economic viability, our net present value is positive, and our benefit to cost ratio is more than 1, which is 2.79, which shows strong economic viability. Thank you.
All projects possess risks. It is important for us to identify, classify, and put controls for the existing risks. Risk matrix is a popular tool which is used for this purpose. In this instance, sources of risks and associated hazard are identified, and the consequences are also identified. Based on the likelihood and consequences, a risk matrix is set up, and the existing risks are brought down to acceptable level using additional controls that will be put into place. Risk matrix was constructed for Western Sydney Airport. Various sources of risks such as poor communication, insufficient information, misinterpretation of scope, Aboriginal heritage, and safety risks were identified. Based on the sources of risks, the associated hazard and consequences such as delay to program, damage to reputation, distance between public and government, damage to Aboriginal heritage, and additional costs and program delay were also identified. There were some existing controls in place for these risks, and based on all the available information of likelihood and consequences, a risk rating was developed. Based on this risk rating, for those risks which are high moderate, additional controls were put into place, and it was ensured that the residual risk rating was of acceptable level. Thank you. Solely from a financial perspective, the project is no-go as benefit cost ratio is less than 1. However, there are wider range of additional benefits associated with the project, such as creation of jobs, stimulation of economy, and so on. Considering all these socio-economic benefits as well, the project is a go-ahead as benefit cost ratio is greater than 1. Please see the relevant references. Thank you.